Hi everyone, welcome to Unacademy. Hope you're all doing really well. So we are still covering the basic grammar review, and today we'll be talking about in our next lesson on parts of speech. Now, before we begin the parts of speech, something about me. My name is Himanshu, and I'm an engineer from BITS Pilani. I work at Dell as a senior business analyst, and you can follow me on Unacademy. Here's my user ID unacademy.in/user/himanshudas. So please do watch Unacademy, subscribe to our channel, and let's see what we have in store for today. So today we are covering parts of speech. Now you'd all tell me that, come on, we've studied parts of speech in a primary school. So what is the need? What is the whole wide need of covering this, in an academy lesson? But to make things very clear to you, parts of speech is something which, yes, you have studied in a primary school, but it's a basic foundation block. Without covering parts of speech, we simply can't move on to some of the more challenging topics, some of the more nuanced topics. And, anyways, in the whole grammar review collection, we'll be covering the most basic concepts which you all would have learned in your primary school or middle school. But the whole idea is to acquaint you with some of the technical terms in grammar so that when we cover the more advanced topics, and if I say, that there is something wrong with the infinites or something wrong with the gerund, you instantly catch as to where the problem is, right? So that's the whole idea of covering these concepts into this collection. So let's start off with noun. And noun is something which you obviously would have studied in your primary schools or middle school, right? So whatever exists and that can be named is a noun. Noun can be anything. It can be a living creature, it can be an object, it can be a place, it can be a quality, it can be a state of existence, it can be an idea, it can be an emotion, right? So, for example, Ram, it's a noun. A person is a noun. The only difference is Ram is a proper noun and person is a common noun. City is a common noun. Bangalore is a proper noun. Indian Ocean is a proper noun. Ocean is a common noun. Chair, table, everything. Everything that you can name is basically a noun. Next, we move on to pronoun. What is a pronoun? Pronoun is simply a word which takes place of a noun, which replaces a noun, right? Uh, let's look at this illustration for now. It says, Joe saw Jill and he waved at her. Clearly, the pronouns he and her here, they take place of Joe and Jill respectively, right? So again, I would say pronoun is nothing but the word which substitutes a noun. Now, pronouns are of three kinds. They can be a subject, they can be an object, and they can have a possessive case. For example, let's assume that a noun is a guy known as Ram, right? So, Ram is my friend. He's a smart guy, right? So, when I'm referring to as he, it's a subject, right? I am giving an award to Ram. I gave him 10,000 rupees. So, him here becomes my object, right? This is Ram's pencil, or I can write it as this is his pencil. So, it becomes a possessive case. Let's move on to adjective. Adjective is nothing but a word which enhances or describes a noun or a pronoun, right? For example, this building is tall. I know building is my noun here, and the word tall is describing that building. Honest king. We are talking about a king here, and the word honest is describing a bit more about the noun, which is the king. So, honest is my adjective. Now, this is a very interesting example which I'm going to share with you. It says, These children are obedient. Take a minute and tell me or not, don't tell me, think for yourself, what is an adjective here? The adjective in this case is these. Some of you might have thought the adjective is obedient, but no, we are talking about children. And when we are talking about children, we are specifically talking about these children. So the word these here is describing about the children. We are talking about this particular set of children. So these in this case is my adjective. Let's move on to verb. It's very simple. Verb is a word which signifies an action, an occurrence, or a state of being. A verb can be of three kinds: a physical verb, a mental verb, or state of being verb. Now, what is a physical verb? Physical verb is nothing but a word which describes physical action. For example, I hear the train coming, right? The physical action is of hearing. Then you have mental verb. It relates to concepts of, understanding, discovering, thinking, and so on. For example, she recognized me from across the room. So it's not a specific physical action, but it's something which is more, closer to facts such as discovering, understanding, and stuff like that, right? And then the last is state of being verb. It describes conditions or situations that exist. For example, I am a student. He is a good boy. So words like am, is, right? They describe the existence. So they are my state of being verbs. Next, we have adverb. Adverb is nothing but a word which modifies an adjective or a verb or another adverb. It would answer questions like when, how, where, in what way, to what extent. For example, it's terribly hot. To what extent it's hot? It's terribly hot. She eats slowly. How does she eat? In what way does she eat? She eats slowly. Then he drives carefully. How does he drive? He drives carefully. So an adverb would basically help you answer some of these questions like when, how, where, in what way, to what extent, right? Next, we move on to preposition. Preposition is simply a word which links a noun, a pronoun, or a noun phrase to some part of the sentence, which might be a verb, which might be an adverb, or anything like that, right? So, for example, my office begins at 9 a.m. He signed the papers with a pen. He washed the dishes after dinner. He talked about grammar. So, what we are seeing here is that the words like at, with, after, about, they're linking one part of the sentence to another. And this is why preposition is different from conjunction. Conjunction is not linking, it's simply joining two words, phrases, or sentences, right? Ram and Shyam, right? He's either a crook or a very genuine man, right? He's not only a singer but also an excellent piano player. The manager saw his project and was impressed by it. So clearly, we are joining two sentences here or two clauses here, but we are not linking or relating a noun to a verb or something of that sort. There are two clauses, independent or dependent. We'll talk about clauses in some time from now, which are being linked here. And finally, we have interjections, which is nothing but your exclamation sentences, exclamation words like ouch, yes, please, right, which express a particular emotion or sentiment. For example, ouch, that shot really hurt. Yes, I would like some more spaghetti. Please, will you leave me alone? You know, so these words are describing a certain emotion. To conclude, I would say that parts of speech are, yes, they are English words, but what function are they serving would be decided only when you look it at from a sentence point of view. You can't isolate your words and say that, hey, this is an adverb, this is a noun, or this is an adjective. You need to look at it from a sentence perspective and then ultimately say, yeah, this is my adverb or this is my adjective. For example, these apples are good. Now, these can be anything, but in this sentence, it's an adjective. So, what I'm trying to say is you need to look at this sentence and then decide on the part of speech. That's all for now. Thank you.